Hello and welcome back to another episode of White Album 2. We are currently playing through Chiaki's chapter. So, after the terrible Christmas Eve date with Setsuna, Haruki found solace in Chiaki, and she managed to stay the night. As my foggy mind gradually clears up, I unconsciously check the clock at my bedside. It's 6:30 in the morning. There's still plenty of time to get dressed and eat breakfast. And depending on the situation, I could even take a shower first and still make it before my first class. This is the time I usually wake up on a normal day of going to university. Taking care not to lift the blanket, I quietly slip out of bed from the side. Usually during this time of year, the unforgivable thought of not wanting to stray away from the blanket due to the cold would cross my mind for just a moment. The feeling of not wanting to leave is stronger than usual today, but it's not because I feel cold. After waking up and shaking off the hazy feeling in my head, I noticed her sleeping right next to me, and I suddenly came to a realization. This wasn't a dream or an illusion. It wasn't anybody's responsibility, nor was it influenced by anything. It had been a choice I made on my own volition. The hot shower robs me of unnecessary memories, but it also stings some wounds that I hadn't even noticed in exchange. The back of my neck, the left side of my chest, the palms of my hands, and even my molars. What? Why do your molars hurt? I wonder why these parts feel painful, even when they're not in contact with the hot water. When I start to think about the answer to that mystery, the memories that were taken away by the heat all wind up flooding back. In doing so, the hot water then stings my wounds again in a vicious cycle, but there's no way to escape from the pain anymore. In the end, my relationship with Setsuna is completely and utterly broken. I mean, you tried, you gave it a good shot. Sometimes these things don't work out. I wait until the fat renders out of the bacon before dropping 2 eggs into the frying pan. Sounds delicious. The sound of the crackling oil blends in with the sizzling sound of frying eggs, and a pleasant aroma wafts around me. The toaster oven turns red hot and browns 2 slices of bread as I take out the leftover vegetables from the fridge and serve them in a bowl. Upon hearing a certain someone dopily breathing in their sleep, I am further reminded of my current situation. Even though it should hurt, no, even though it really does hurt, I'm still the same as always. I've never lived out a day like this the way I have lived up until now. I desperately tried to make sure things were normal. I nearly broke into tears and gritted my teeth as I tried to retain my usual self. Above all, I couldn't even fall asleep. And yet I managed to wake up at the usual time and took a morning shower to refresh myself as I usually do, and prepared breakfast as if nothing had ever happened at all. The only difference is that I prepared 2 servings, but the fact that I can't even notice that suggests that things are normal.
Izumi.
Is this because of her?
Oi, Izumi.
Is it because I received the warmth of Izumi's body? Is it because I received something special from her? I mean, honestly speaking, even if it wasn't, them having adult times together, just having a friend who's there for you and cares about your feelings and supports you, that's what it's supposed to be. I could have been doing those things with someone else at the exact same time.
そろそろ起きろっての。餌の時間だぞ。
寒いよ。エアコン 助けてよ。
Just where did I go wrong to end up in this situation?
ダメ。電気代もったいない。
春樹寒くないの？そんな薄着で。
全然。シャワー浴びたばかりだし、それにこうして動いてるし。
No. Now that it has come to this, I don't even know if this can be considered wrong anymore.
体以外は？
寒くない。
Am I going down the wrong path right now? Or have I been going down the wrong path up until today?
そっか。じゃ、おはよう。
服着ろ。だから寒いんだ。
Izumi stretches with a hum as if to mock me for being lost in my labyrinth of thoughts, exposing her uncovered fair skin.
なあ、今日これからどうする？どっか出かけるなら一緒に出るか。雪も溶けてるみたいだし。
Oh, now they're gonna go out on a little date. Or a hangout, whatever you want to call it. It's not Christmas Eve anymore today, but it's still the actual day of Christmas. That said, we could go out into the streets and do things together that would be expected during a date, share a meal, and it would end with me taking her to the station.
ご飯食べたら寝る。毛布にくるまってあったかくしてぐっすり寝る。
That sounds nice.
またかよ。お前、一体どれだけ寝る気だ？
だって寒いんだもん。
厚着しろ。そんな格好じゃ寒くて当たり前だ。
She's always lightly dressed in her camisole and miniskirt whenever she comes over. As much as I'm the one who's stubbornly refusing to turn on the heater, she's also at fault for being dressed in a way that I can tell she'll feel cold just by looking at her.
そうだ、春樹。服貸してよ。これ以外は外出用しか持ってきてなくてさ。
I mean, unless you want her to wear the very dirty Santa suit.
普段からあれを着て外出するのかよ、お前は。
That Christmas-themed miniskirt also looked to be pretty cold. Izumi's thighs were freezing back then. I really shouldn't be recalling such things so early in the morning.
服が外出用しかないなら、なおさら外に。
いや、
お前な。
外なんて絶対嫌。疲れてるんだもん。ゆうべ春樹にあんなに激しくされてさ。
Got him there.
春樹こそよくそんなに元気だよね。私以上に動いてたはずなのにさ。
バイトが遅くなって始発帰りになっても、いつも同じ時間に起きてるから、俺。
At any rate, my reply steered the conversation away from that topic. I lower the tone of my voice, pretending that I'm chewing on my toast. Even if she noticed that I'm wavering, I'll deny it to the very end.
私はダメだ。普段でさえ8時間は寝ないとやってけないのに、それがゆうべは。
お前な、そんなにだらけてると。
That's not lazy. Wanting 8 hours of sleep per night is not lazy.
春樹が困る？もしかして帰れっていうつもりだった？いつまでもまとわりつくなって言
Aww.
うつもりだった？
No.
お前、もしかしてまた親と？
I'm referring to the conflict she had with her mother that she revealed in the past. Perhaps I'm not the only reason Izumi's decided to stay by my side right now.
別にどうしても帰れって言うなら帰るよ。春樹が決めなよ。
That's kind of putting him in a hard place, though. The excuse I created to escape responsibility is sent flying away in an instant. She's telling me that it's at my discretion as to whether or not she can stay here, to stay by my side forever. Forever? Whoa! She's just asking if she can stay over, not like live with you.
どうする？
どうするって、それは。
Then that means I have to return to my usual self as soon as possible. I can't indulge myself in such comforts forever. I have to face the path I'm going to be moving forward on. And that's because the scenery surrounding me has already changed irreversibly.
しろ。勝手にしろって言った。
As if things can be decided at my own convenience. Thinking back to what I did to her yesterday and what I'd asked of her, I won't forcibly say I want her to go home. I just can't.
ういやつめ。
そういう態度やめろ。バカっぽい。
It's fine. She'll get bored of all this and leave in 2 or 3 days anyway. I'll let her do what she wants to until then. No matter how I think about it, I'm the reason she's here right now. It shouldn't hurt to play along with Izumi's whims for the time being.
じゃあ早速一緒に寝よう、ハルキ。おいで、ボーカングくん。
人の言うことを少しは参考にしろ。
Then what about after 2 or 3 days have passed? Will I be able to bring myself to flatly send her away? That is a good question. Saying that, it's nighttime in the blink of an eye. Izumi seriously dove into bed the instant she finished her breakfast and fell asleep in no time. Oh, that sounds so nice.
うわー、何これマジ？
I couldn't just head out and leave my guest alone, so I proceeded to clean my room and prepare dinner as quietly as possible. And I helped myself to the sight of Izumi's carefree, sleeping expression as quietly as possible.
やっぱ今日は特番ばっかだね。ちょっと飽きる。
It was already evening by the time Izumi woke up. She woke up rather giddily at about the time the curry I made with the leftover ingredients I had in the fridge was ready, enticed by the smell. In other words, the two of us really ended up not taking so much as a single step outside for the whole day today.
ハルキ、こっちおいでよ。
洗い物終わるまでちょっと待ってろ。
そんなの次に食器が必要になった時でいいじゃん。
They're such different people. We ended up spending Christmas even more idly than we would spend a normal day, when it was supposed to have been a special occasion for the two of us to pass the time together. I would have been full of resentment and regret over how much time we've wasted if I were my usual self. However, only my words suggest that I'm angry. I turn off the faucet while in the middle of washing the dishes and mutter that as I approach Izumi to sit not opposite, but right beside her.
座椅子来た。
おい。
And Izumi, as if she understands that I'm about to cuddle close to her. Rather, it's obvious that she already knew what I was going to do. I was going to do this. She leans her back onto my chest, allowing me to feel her softness and warmth. Just like how she did yesterday.
ハルキの手冷たい。
そりゃ今まで洗い物してたし。
Were you washing them with cold water?
お湯使おうよ。
もったいない。
Boy,
水でも十分汚れは落ちる。
that is so Haruki-like.
ほんとケチだね、ハルキは。
生活費自分持ちだからな。基本的に。
もうちょっと自分に優しくなればいいのに。
Agreed. Taking both of my hands in hers, she places them on her stomach and rubs them gently. We naturally end up in a position where I'm hugging her from behind, cuddling close together just like last night.
背中はあったかいけど、お腹は冷たい。どうしたもんか。
どうしてもこうしてもあるか。泉が勝手にしてることだろ。
テレビつまんないよ、ハルキ。PS3 とかないの？
They bleeped out PS3.
そんな贅沢品なんか持ってるわけないだろ。
そっか。じゃあ仕方ない。
諦め早いな。
ま、こうしてられれば退屈でも構わないし、このままゆるゆると過ごしますか。
だから勝手にしろ。
The TV continues to play the same boring noises as always. The scenery outside the window has also changed from last night, such that the sky is now so clear and bright that we're able to see some stars, even in this well-lit neighborhood. It's cold inside the room, but the residual heat from the curry pot gives off a little warmth. I can't really compare it to the coldness outside, though. After all, I've not gone outside even once today to know how cold it is. I've been taking refuge in this personal hideaway that Izumi's been facilitating for me this entire time, away from any external stimulation. I mean, when you go through such a traumatic event, and I do argue it was kind of traumatic for Haruki, even though it was his fault. Sometimes you just need to relax and rest and take some time. He's got someone there to support him. There's nothing wrong with just staying in for a day.
リンゴでも向こうか。
いいよ、別に。
そっか。
My sense of touch gradually returns to my cold, numb hands as they overlap with Izumi's. I've buried my face in Izumi's hair countless times yesterday, and I now once again brush my lips against it, making sure to get a good whiff of her fragrance. She just came out of the shower, and though I imagine she'd be using my cheap shampoo, there's a pleasant scent on her hair that's completely new to me. And it's not just her hair. I imagine she'd be using my soap as well, but her skin is also...
お茶入れるか。
だからいいって。働くな、春樹。
いや、けど落ち着かなくてさ。
Probably just brought her own cosmetics. It's not just because I'm getting close to Izumi. The fact that I'm doing nothing right now is making my usually restless self rather anxious.
こんなことしていていいのかって。こんな平和すぎる時間を過ごしていいのかって。
Poor Haruki is so used to using, like, work as an escape that he's not used to being able to do nothing. The fact that I can feel so lax right now despite the grave mistake I made last night just doesn't make any sense.
だから考えるな。何もするなっての。
でもそんなんじゃ何も変わらない。
変わるよ。春樹が何もしなくても時間が何かを変えることもある。
Very wise words.
時間。
だからさ、今は何もせず、何も考えず、時間が解決してくれるのをじっと待つの。
そんなはずない。そんなことあるわけがない。
After all, time did not solve anything between us in these past 3 years. It didn't erase anything. It didn't heal anything.
それはさ、春樹が休んでなかったからだよ。
That's true. He didn't give himself a break for 3 years.
休む。
普通さ、風邪ひいた時とかってゆっくり寝て何もしないで薬飲んで、そうやって体が治るまでじっとしてるよね。
それはそうだけど。
だから今もさ、ゆっくり寝て何もしないで薬飲んで。
薬って。
Izumi, who'd been a bit restless in my arms, turns to face me and suddenly kisses me. Just as I did to her last night, violently thrusting her tongue in, licking all over, and making her saliva flow into my mouth. Then, all of a sudden, she moves her mouth away, making the escaping air produce a smacking sound.
ほら、水薬。
The leftover saliva in my mouth is like an obscene connection between the two of us now.
毎食後30分以内に服用くださ
Oh, it's cute.
副作用ないんだろうな。
い。もちろんあるよ。深刻な禁断症状が出ます。
最悪だな。
Given that I wasn't told the dosage, I take a little more just in case. This time around, I stick in my tongue and loudly drink down the saliva inside her mouth.
こう
そう、こうやって休むの。
じゃあ俺が何もしなかったら料理も洗濯も掃除もお前がやってくれるのか。
Yeah, right.
いや、それはさ、たまにやる分にはいい気分転換になるよ。
いい加減なことばっか。
Once again, I seal the mouth of this person who only says irresponsible things, and in the end, doesn't do anything herself. Hold on, did I say cooking, washing, and cleaning? Just how long was I planning to let her stay here?
はるき、一緒に堕落しようね。
That's interesting. Welcome back. So, as you can imagine, Chiaki and Haruki spent a few more adult times together. Nothing groundbreaking ended up happening. Surprisingly, the phone in the room is ringing. When was the last time a call came from this phone and not my cell phone? Ah, that's right. My cell phone's been off for 2 days.
11時
The short hand on the bedside clock is pointing to an hour far away from my usual wake-up time. I didn't notice because the curtains were closed. No, they're always like that. I'm just making excuses.
いやどう
Oh, pick up that phone.
おい足
Removing the soft calf around my leg, I sluggishly crawl out of bed. Is it because we were sleeping together? My body is flushed to the point that the cold air outside of my bed feels nice. Perhaps because she was deprived of her personal heater, the other sleepyhead squirmed about for a while, but soon pulled the blanket over herself and fell soundly asleep. That reminds me, what time did I stay up until last night? Or rather, until what time did I sleep with Chiaki?
どうした
どうしたじゃねえだろ。お前一体今までどうしてたんだよ。
I took the telephone and shut myself inside the bathroom so as not to wake Chiaki. The moment I placed the receiver to my ear, what came flying over was Takeya's angry voice. It's quite predictable from the caller ID and the current situation. Oh yeah, not being reachable after such an important event is not great.
どうしてだってこうして部屋にいたけど
携帯全然繋がらないし、こっちの番号にだって今朝から何回かけたと思ってる。
そうなのか悪い爆睡してたらしい。
本当か？お前がそういうのを聞き逃すほど寝こけるなんてにわかには信じられねえけどな。
Me too, that was a loud phone.
そうかもな。
Even I can't believe it myself. I usually would have absolutely broken from my slumber to answer a call immediately, even in the middle of the night, or if I'd been forced to stay up all night.
お前やっぱ何かあったのか？
何かって何か
Is it because my mind isn't as strained as it usually is? Or is it because both my body and soul are well rested, like Chiaki said?
何がじゃねえだろ。せつなちゃんとのことに決まってる。
あ
Or perhaps I've already fallen into depravity?
あったんだろ。イブの夜、せつなちゃんと約束したんだよな。
あ
I feel like those turbulent times are already things of the past. It's not that my feelings have shifted. I just feel like I'm no longer connected to that timeline. Like I'm living in a completely different age.
ホテルだってチェックインしたんだろ。朝までずっと一緒だったんだろ。
Well, not really.
さあな
そうなって、お前。
The the first thing that should have come out of my mouth in response is this. You got me real good, Takaya. How I wish I could have said that while either being truly angry or while attempting to hide my embarrassment. Either response would have been appropriate, but I made a mistake.
実はさ、昨日イオがせつなちゃんに連絡取ったんだけど。
そっか。
So she managed to contact her. So she managed to properly talk to her. That's good to know. I'm amazed that I can even feel relieved over the mere fact that they've managed to contact her and forget my own situation. I mean, just because you're not in that timeline, quote unquote, which is funny because it's a game, doesn't mean he doesn't care about her still and want her to be okay.
なんでもない。何もなかったって。なあ、ハルキ。お前たち本当は何があったんだ？もしかして俺、余計なおせっかいを。
そんなことないよ、竹谷。
I wouldn't hold a grudge against friends who worry about me, even now. No way.
せつなの言った通りだよ。ただ、何もなかっただけだ。
それって、今まで通り何も変わらないってことか。
I wouldn't say it's the same as before. I think it's a little bit more definitive that they're not together.
何の進展もなかったってのはいいとして、何も壊れてないんだな、お前たち。
That's not true, don't lie. That's right, same as before. Nothing has changed.
なあ、ハルキ。やっぱ今から会えないか？え？なんか話しててもお前、元気なさそうだし。ちゃんと飯食ってるか？寝てるか？
大丈夫だって。カレー作り置きしてあるし、今だってずっと寝てたんだし。
Oh yeah, he has.
直接会ってみないと安心できねえよ。今からそっち行ってもいいだろ。
今から？
Oh no, you shouldn't. I open the bathroom door slightly and look into the dimly lit room. The only thing I see is one long white thigh. Her sleeping posture is quite unsightly when she's alone.
そうだ。ついでに何か食材買ってくから。また鍋やろうぜ、鍋。イオにも連絡してさ。
ダメだ。来るな。
ハルキ。
Zoinks.
今夜からゼミのスキー合宿なんだ。夕方から打ち明けるんだよ。
Don't lie so much. That lie came out of my mouth on impulse. This is Haruki's problem. Lying is an impulse to him now. He really needs some therapy. He needs to sort that out. That is a huge, huge problem.
スキー合宿？そんな話初めて聞いたぞ。
And Takaya is so nosy, he's gonna find out about it.
そりゃそうだろ。初めて話した。先週急に決まったんだよ。
Upon seeing the dangling feet and the ruffling of the blanket, before I knew it, I lied again.
急すぎんだろそれは。ありえね
え。決まったのはもっと前だったんだけど、俺がそれを知ったのが先週の打ち上げの席で。
I do feel like I'm pushing it, but I can no longer do anything other than continue my patched up lie.
だからしばらく電話もつながらない。山奥のロッジだし、朝から晩までスキー漬けだし。
おい。
いくらなんでも無理があるぞ、ハルキ。お前だったら絶対に信じないだろ、そんなの。
I'm not doing this for anyone's sake. I just want to protect this little place I want to be in the most.
ごめん、竹谷。そろそろ出かけないといけないから切るな。
お前、さっき出かけるのは夕方だって。
Haruki. I understand that the lie I just made was completely and utterly absurd. Even so, I've always been a horrible liar, even since back then.
ただいま留守にしております。ご用の方は発信音の後にメッセージをお願いします。
After setting the answering machine, I am now isolated from the rest of the world. Okay. When I was saying earlier that it's good to have some peace and rest time, I didn't mean shut yourself off from the rest of the world and lie. Terrible. My cell phone is also turned off. No one can catch me now. As long as I don't leave my apartment, that is.
電話誰からだった？
Oh, Haruki. When will the lies end? Okay, we will stop there for today. Thank you so much for being with me on this chapter of Chiaki's Route, and we'll be back with more soon. Until then, I hope you take care. See you!